This is why you should have Xingqiu on your account and why you should summon for Xingqiu. Absolutely beautiful. That one bonus, man, saves me resin, I'm telling you. Hey, what's good everybody? It's your boy Krypts here. We're back with another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Xingqiu or Xingqiu. I'm not sure how people really pronounce it. I see two different ways. I think the proper way is Xingqiu, but like the more like easier way is Xingqiu. So we're just going to say Xingqiu just because a lot more people say it like that. But if you really don't like it like that, I'll try my best to say Xingqiu from now on. But for the sake of the video, I will say Xingqiu. Anyways, enough of that. We are going to be doing a character build of Xingqiu. So he is one of the best 4-stars in the game, one of the best supports in the game, very criminally underrated in my opinion. I feel like when he first came out, when the game first came out, a lot of people really underrated him. I don't know why. He is so good. Like I've recently been using him, right? I haven't been using him a lot in the past. I've just been using him recently, like I would say 2 weeks or so, and he's just been amazing, especially for my pyro units. This guy is disgustingly good. He's criminally underrated, and I'm going to show you guys how you can build your Xingqiu and how he can, you know, make your team just so much stronger. So let's get right into it. Alright, so as you guys know, I do character builds when my characters are usually level 80, weapon level 80, artifacts and talents all optimal. So that's why I don't usually have that many character builds, because I really do want them to be at optimal, you know, level and all that sort, so that, you know, it's at a level where people know if he's usable or not, right? Especially if you're max rank, you know, AR 55 or whatever, right? So yeah, I will do character builds from, you know, later on when I have more resources, obviously. But you know, it's kind of hard to get resources, especially getting them to level 80 and talents and all that stuff, because it is expensive. So I don't know. Anyways, enough of that. Let's go look at Xingqiu. So we have a 1500 attack, a 14k max HP, and a 901 defense. So elemental mastery is at 93, not too bad either. I'm rocking him at a 41% crit rate and a 116% crit damage, which is not too bad. I can probably get that crit rate to 50% and maybe that crit damage to 125 if I get like better artifacts. But obviously, you know, he's a 4-star and all, so I don't want to go too crazy into resins with him. So whatever I get is, you know, I'll give it to him, right? So it just comes with time and sort like that. Like, you know, if I'm farming noblesse right now, maybe I get better noblesse sets, all that sort. So there's that. So we're gonna start with the artifact. So what I run is a 2-piece noblesse and a 2-piece heart of depth. You could run a 4-piece noblesse if you want, but because I have a bunch of characters I run with 4-piece noblesse, I have Bennett rocking it, and I think I have Mona rocking it. No, I don't have Mona. Well, I have Bennett, and usually Bennett's on the same team as Xingqiu. I could use 4-piece noblesse because sometimes I might not use Xingqiu with Bennett, but you know, I'd rather have that damage, because using his elemental burst E, he does a good amount of damage actually. I'll show you guys in this DPS showcase. Sometimes it crits around 15,000, 20,000, right? So it does a lot of damage as E, right? But you know, for the sake of his ultimate, which is where you're mainly using him, his 4-piece noblesse is probably the more optimal one in my opinion. But I think noblesse 2-piece and then 2-piece heart of depth is, you know, all around the better set. So what you will obviously want to run, you want to get crit damage. The simple things, you guys already know that. You know, Sans, attack, very simple, Hydro, Goblet, and then obviously a crit rate or crit damage circlet, depending on your ratio. So obviously my artifacts on Xingqiu is not the greatest. It's like I could probably definitely work on some things like this Hydro run. Hopefully I can get a better one, you know, get more crit, right? Even maybe I get crit rate, heart of depth circlet, and try to get crit damage on it, and maybe more other stuff. Attack percentage, obviously, for the Sans, crit damage if you can. I didn't go too crazy, but here's all the stats for Xingqiu. So if you can, you know, just focus on crit rate, crit damage, because I will show you why you will not need energy recharge for Xingqiu. He is a elemental burst character, and obviously you're gonna be using his elemental burst like crazy, but I'm gonna show you guys why you probably won't need that. Maybe because, you know, I do actually have max constellations, which we'll talk about in a bit. So the reason why Xingqiu is so good is because the sacrificial sword, I don't care what y'all say, is the best weapon for Xingqiu. Do not choose any other weapon. If you have the sacrificial sword, please use it on Xingqiu. It is so good on Xingqiu. This is by far the best weapon, hands down, for Xingqiu, even better than any 5-star weapons, right? If you don't have the sacrificial sword, I do recommend the Favonius sword if you have that as well. Other than that, free to play options, it's going to be kind of difficult for you when, you know, using Xingqiu at his fullest potential, but if you have the sacrificial sword, I really recommend you guys get this on Xingqiu. It is probably the best sword for Xingqiu, especially if you summon a lot. Like me, I'll have a max refinement, but you can definitely run him at refinement rank 1 and it is still a good sword. Max refinement on sacrificial sword with Xingqiu is absolutely broken because after damaging an opponent with an elemental skill, so is E, the skill has an 80% chance to end its own cooldown. So if you guys didn't know, Xingqiu's E is how you're going to get his particles, and it actually has a 20-second cooldown. It really does. It has a 20-second cooldown. It's a long time, so sometimes you won't get his ult a lot quicker than you want to, but when you have refinements on the sacrificial sword, you know, you have a percentage, you know, ending that cooldown so that you can E again, and his E gives you a lot of particles. It really does. So, and also the best part of this is it gives you energy recharge, so you don't really have to focus on that on your artifacts too much. Maybe 1 or 2 subsets that has energy recharge definitely could help you, but you know, with the sword being a substat of energy recharge, you know, you're gonna have plenty of energy recharge. Now obviously I do have max Constellation Xingqiu, and that is why I'm showcasing him and using him at the same time. I know you're gonna be upset, like, oh, he's not gonna be good C0. Well, yes and no, right? First of all, he is a 4-star, so most likely you probably will have him. And also, if you guys didn't know, if you have been saving up your points, you actually do have a Xingqiu in the Paimon's bargain shop, which is ending of making this video, like, I think 1 more day. So you have 1 more day to do this. I didn't realize it's gonna be April soon, but he is in the store, so if you need him, you should pick it up because it's a free constellation, or if you don't have him at all. But like I said, because he's a 4-star, you're most likely gonna have a few constellations. You might not have 6, but you could have like 1 or 2. Obviously if you're starting the game out, you might not have him because you haven't summoned as much, but you know, if you played Genshin Impact at the beginning of time, you probably will have Xingqiu some constellations. I have a bunch of free-to-play friends. They don't, you know, they haven't paid. They summon normally what they have and what they get, and they have a few constellations on Xingqiu, so it's definitely possible, right? So, you know, if you can get the Constellation 1 with Xingqiu, he's definitely really good. But like I said, C0 Xingqiu works perfectly fine. If you properly build them, he's still as strong, trust me. So Constellation 1 increased the max number of rain swords by 1, definitely a very good constellation, and honestly all you need. Constellation 2 extends his ultimate by 3 seconds, which is really good, and decreases the hydro res of opponents by sword rain attack by 15% for 4 seconds, also very good. Obviously getting talent level up on level 4, you know, 4-star characters are very useful, so definitely good constellations there. Constellation 4, throughout the duration of his ultimate, the damage dealt by his E is increased by 50%. So obviously during your ultimate, if you use his E, which is kind of hard to use because 20-second cooldown, and by the time it's cooled down, you'll probably have his ultimate. Unless you have his ultimate ready to go and then use his E, then yes, he'll do a lot more damage, so there's that. Then Constellation 6, activating 2 of his swords, Ring Cutter, Sword Rains attack greatly increased the damage to the 3rd. And Xingqiu regenerates 3 energy when Sword Rain attack hit opponents, so he basically gets his ultimate back a lot more quicker. So definitely having max Constellation Xingqiu definitely helps him being one of the better characters on my teams, and he is absolutely broken for me. So honestly, if you do have Constellation 1 even, he is very viable and he's a very good character to use. Talents level up, obviously very important as well. I recommend getting his ultimate maxed out as much as you can, and then his E right after, and then you don't really have to level up his normal attack because you're honestly using Xingqiu for his elemental burst. So if you want to, you could level up his normal attack if you want to use him as your main DPS. But like I said, he's more of a support slash secondary DPS for your teams, right? So definitely getting his ultimate and his E leveled up, prioritizing those is very important. Now team comps. So Xingqiu is one of those characters where you can fit into many team comps. He is very versatile and he can work with a lot of teams, right? Obviously you're gonna need a main DPS, and you know, to activate his swords to attack the enemy, you have to do normal attack. So archers might not be the greatest idea because you're not going to be using normal attacks with your archers, other than child, and I don't have child obviously because you know, I didn't summon for him. But if you do have child and Xingqiu, pretend this is child, pretend Razor's child. Pretend this is child. If you have child and Xingqiu together, they work very well. You guys seen in my child video, I did rock Xingqiu paired up with child, and they do a lot of damage together. So definitely child and Xingqiu is a very good option. My favorite is either using D-Luke or Hu Tao. Like I said, you're gonna need a primary DPS, right? So either of these two with Xingqiu works perfectly fine. Hu Tao, I activate her, her butterfly effects where she infuses pyro into her polearm. And D-Luke, after I use my ultimate, his weapon is infused with polearm. So I'm doing a bunch of vaporized damage with these two with Xingqiu, right? So these two are definitely very good to pair up with Xingqiu or Xingqiu, however you want to pronounce it. And these two, I use them separately. I've used them different times, and I'll show you guys in the video both times with D-Luke and Hu Tao that they work very well with Xingqiu. Xiao, I wouldn't recommend. Mona, I have used. If you're, if you really want more hydro damage, you could use Mona with Xingqiu. It is a little bit slower attacks, and obviously you don't have any elemental reaction. You're only doing hydro damage, so it's whatever, but it's okay. So obviously, if you rock Bennett, it's very helpful because you get the elemental resonance of Pyro, which increases your attack by 25%. So having D-Luke or Hu Tao with Bennett and then Xingqiu as well, you're doing more damage and more vaporized elemental reactions. So Bennett, definitely a very good pairing with Xingqiu and his primary DPS. And then the fourth slot, you could, use it with anyone else. Maybe if you could run with Zhongli. I can run with Albedo. That Venti, that secondary support really. Like my favorite team with Xingqiu would probably be Hu Tao, Bennett, Xingqiu, and I like using either Albedo or Zhongli. Most likely Zhongli, but I have been using Albedo a lot more now because I kind of fixed them up. So this is probably one of my favorite teams to use when it comes to Xingqiu, because I'll have that Hu Tao and Xingqiu combo, and I'll also have that Pyro, elemental resonance combo, and then Bennett's healing and Bennett's attack boost, and then Albedo is just there to do crystallized damage, and he set up his flower, and you guys know when he uses ultimate, he does a bunch of crystallized damage if you just touch the enemy with anyone. So Albedo is probably one of my favorite characters to use with this team. This is probably my favorite team to use with Xingqiu. Obviously, you can be very versatile with Xingqiu. You can literally use them with anyone that uses normal attacks mainly, right? So if you have anyone that, does normal attacks, where you don't use charge attacks or bows or any of that sort, Xingqiu definitely fits well in most teams. Now finishing up, obviously, we need to show you guys a DPS burst showcase, which is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to be rocking Xingqiu with a lot of different team comps so that you guys have a good idea who you want to run with Xingqiu. He's very versatile, like I said many times during this video, a very good character indeed, and I really do think that you guys should use your resources and build up your Xingqiu if you have him, because he is a very good character to use. So obviously I'm going to show you guys how powerful he is even in floor 12 of the Spiral Abyss, so let's get right into it.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Clear sky.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed that Xingqiu build, a little bit of a shorter build. You know, I kind of want to shorten my builds a little bit. You know, I don't want to go into it too much. Just keep it nice and simple for everyone. So hopefully that's all right with y'all. Like I said, it's really hard to make content Genshin Impact. Obviously, not much content's in the game to, you know, cover up and videos. So right now I'm just trying to do DPS showcase and character builds, and hopefully we can get some new content very soon. Pretty sure the next update will probably have a new world boss, so hopefully we can make a video about that. Anyways, appreciate the support so far. Y'all been amazing. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Really do appreciate that. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button down below. Also, y'all know the drill. Hit that bell notification, notifies you when I put up a video. That's gonna be it for me. Peace.